Hey everyone, Smarty771 here with another video, and today I am going to be going over my thoughts of the Battlefield 5 Alpha. It's been out for a few days now, and I've gotten plenty of chances to play, and some good recordings of my gameplay in 1440p coming to you courtesy of GeForce Experience. So without further ado, let's get into this discussion on my thoughts of Battlefield 5 Alpha. We're going to start with going over all four of the infantry classes, and then my other thoughts on gameplay and vehicles and whatever comes to my head and what I thought about while I was playing the game. So first is the Assault class, and as in any other Battlefield game, the Assault class is a anti-tank, anti-infantry class only. They really don't add much to the battlefield aside from just obliterating infantry, capping points, and taking out armor. The STG-44 is the weapon of choice for the Assault class in the Battlefield 5 Alpha, and I think that the STG-44 is definitely the best weapon in this Alpha at the moment. It is pretty accurate, its bullets pack a punch, and I always enjoy running into a firefight with it because I know I'm going to beat pretty much anybody that is not Assault at that point. The next class is the Medic class. In my opinion, both guns in the Medic class leave a little bit to be desired. The MP40 is really inaccurate, and I really don't see how useful it is. It just sprays bullets all over the place, and you really can't beat anybody in a firefight unless they're right in front of you with this gun, or unless you tap fire one bullet at a time. The marksmanship rifle that they have for the Medic class is also not that great. It takes 3 or 4 shots to kill someone depending on how far away they are and where in the body you hit them, and also the weapon recoils tremendously, which means if you just tap the button over and over to hit somebody, if they're not right in front of you, you're going to miss every shot that's not the first shot. And I really didn't enjoy running with that rifle because it forced me to be patient. I guess that's just personal choice there, but I really didn't like either of the medic guns in this alpha. So as the medic, of course, your job is to go around and revive your teammates, and in this game and in Battlefield in general, reviving teammates is essential to victory. It keeps the enemy from getting tickets and also keeps the push towards any objective alive. Now, when you revive people, there is a slight pause after you revive them, and I think that's a glitch in the game, but that just makes you vulnerable for 1 or 2 seconds just standing there after your teammate has already gotten up. And in Westy, in his video, similar to mine, talked about how he was really happy that there are plenty of medics going around reviving people. That is simply not true in my experience, because while I was playing, pretty much nobody was playing a medic, and if they were skipping reviving you. And I think that really sucks because, like I said before, reviving is so important to Battlefield and is needed to be victorious. And it's just even more frustrating, especially now in this game, you can't skip revives. But I will go into that later. The next class is support, and I really hated the guns for support in this alpha. The Bren gun is okay, but it has a tiny magazine and it's not really that effective in close quarters or long distance engagements. Even though it has a bipod, you're going to get outshot by a sniper or somebody else that has the other support gun, which is the MG34. Now this weapon made me the most upset out of anything else. Any of the gameplay elements or anything else, the MG34 made me more angry. That's because the only way you can be effective with this weapon is if you're at a long distance. Hip firing is simply out of the question with the MG34. It is so inaccurate. You cannot get any sort of shot group with it. You can't hit anybody that's not 5 feet in front of you with it if you're aiming from the hip. You have to be prone or crouched behind cover or on the ground to deploy the bipod for the gun to be useful at all. So given that it is a long-distance medium machine gun, it should have some sort of optic or some way to zoom in, but it doesn't. You have to be quite a distance away from the fight to be effective with this gun. And the fact that you can't run into an objective and just mow people down like you could possibly with the Bren gun, because at least you have an accurate hip fire, you just can't do that with this gun. So you're going to lay down on a hill or behind cover and make yourself easy pickings for somebody with a sniper rifle or with the medic's marksmanship rifle. So I just found myself really frustrated. And it's frustrating that you have to have that machine gun in order to have an actual ammo crate, but that's another problem I'll go into later. But the MG34 is only effective at distance, and that just makes you an easy target, especially in a huge open map like this. and I really did not enjoy running with it, even though I've always wanted to have that gun or an MG42 in a Battlefield game. It sucks that it's really not very useful, and I really don't see very many people running with it at all either, because it's just not an effective weapon. Now, for support, I think it's cool how they are needed for effectiveness of a squad and a team, because everybody spawns with so little ammo. You're always keeping an eye out for support and always keeping an eye out for ammo crates and ammo pouches so that you can just get the ammo that you need, because you spawn with like 2 or 3 magazines max. So you're going to need to find ammunition, which makes support essential in this game, more essential than they've been in any other Battlefield game. And now for recon. Recon is basic recon. Nothing has really changed here, and I really don't have any comments. You know, they have long-distance sniper rifles. In this game, they only had one, which was just a normal, generic sniper rifle. There are no sweet spots in the rifles in this game, so that means we're not going to have to worry about you being in the sweet spot of a rifle like you would be in Battlefield 1. So the recon has spotting and spawning capabilities and a sniper rifle. So now let's get into the gameplay. The things that I noticed, first and foremost, is the aircraft. In this game, I think the aircraft feel more clunky versus nimble and maneuverable like they were in Battlefield 1. I've never been a huge fan of flying aircraft in Battlefield games, mostly because I'm, 1, bad at it, and 2, it just feels like I get shot down all the time, and I really am not effective if it's not a bomber. But in Battlefield 5, it simply feels like I'm flying a tank in the air, I think is the best way to describe it. Now for tanks, it's really no change there. They're awesome, and now that Battlefield 5 has this like complete destructibility of buildings, you can just mow down any building, just drive right through it without having to worry about climbing up weird angles or anything. The buildings just fall down like cardboard right in front of your tank, and I think that is awesome. Low ammo spawns, like I said before, are awesome. It forces you to focus on getting ammo from the get-go right when you spawn. It makes every life feel that much more frantic and intense, because that's just one more thing you have to worry about. Even right when you start your life, you have to keep in mind that you have low ammo. Like in any terms, in any game, only having 60 rounds is really not that much. You'll burn through it really fast, especially if it's an automatic rifle like the STG-44. And if you're running into a firefight with multiple enemies, you need to keep in mind that you might have to retreat after you take out a couple of them to go get more ammunition, because you're going to run out. Now the Conquest game mode on this map isn't really that great. I feel like it's a little slow because the map is so open and spread out. You really don't run into that many enemies like you do in the Operations game mode, where everyone's focused on like one line and there are several objectives with everybody fighting on both sides. And Conquest on a map like this is just everybody spread out everywhere, and you don't run into as many enemies, and it's just a slower paced game mode, and I really didn't enjoy it as much as I did the Grand Operations mode. Now, not being able to skip revives is a cool idea, but when nobody is executing squad revives or playing as a medic, it's really frustrating. Now, I said I'd go into more detail on this, and here we go. Laying there after you die and seeing medics and squad mates around you but nobody's bothering to revive you is one of the most frustrating things. In Battlefield 1, it sucked because, you know, it was like you would see them there and you'd just be able to skip the revive and start again because you knew nobody was going to help you. In this game, you just have to lay there and watch enemies and teammates run around you totally ignoring you, and it's just super frustrating that nobody is going to just take the 5 seconds as a medic or 10 seconds as a squad mate to revive you. I just found that pretty frustrating, and I think that if you're playing with good teammates, not being able to skip revives is great. But in the general public, and especially now that they're adding Battle Royale, we're going to have a whole new influx of people that really haven't played Battlefield before playing the game. And I just think that nobody's really going to be effectively PTFOing as a medic. So I think that skipping revives needs to be re-implemented, in my opinion. Now, building fortifications in this game is fantastic. I am a huge fan of this fortifications thing because you're going to be able to build the cover where it is, you know, predetermined to be built, but it's in strategic places to where it's going to be useful to the objective. So if you're like placing an explosive at an objective, you'll be able to build some sandbags up around it, and you'll be able to effectively put the explosive on the objective while you're covered by the fortifications that you just built. And that's also useful for when the other team comes by and tries to disarm it and they're covered as well, but that's just the nature of the beast, I guess. Another point I'd like to make is regarding the MG34 and the class archetype thing that they have going on here, to where one specialization is like engineer and one is support, and they have different roles on the battlefield even though they're both the support class. The only way that you can have the ammo crate, which is where everybody can run up to it, press E, and get a good amount of ammunition, is if you have the MG34, which is the MMG that I'm upset you can't ADS with. You're not going to be able to get that crate up to the front lines of the battle if you have a weapon that is not built for the front lines of the battle. I think that that is really bad design. They might have done that on purpose, but it really ruins the flow of the game to where you're on the front, and the only way you're going to get ammo is if a support person is able to throw a pouch at you and there's not a crate readily sitting there ready for you to run up and grab, because whoever's playing support with the MG34 is not going to bother going up there to the front because that machine gun is keeping them back because they're not able to hip fire and they need to find a nest to set up and stay. But that's just my opinion. They might have designed it that way, but I really don't like that part of the gameplay. So my last note is regarding one thing that really doesn't ruin the game for me, but it just detracts a little bit from it. I really enjoy historical accuracy in video games, and when I see something like in the alpha here, like an Asian female British sniper in Norway, how am I supposed to react to that? Like, am I supposed to look at that and be like, oh yeah, I totally believe that there were Asian female snipers in World War II in Norway? Nope, not really. No, that kind of takes away from the immersion, you know, my immersion, all that bullshit and stuff that you're seeing around people talking about. I mean, it frustrates me. It doesn't ruin the game for me, but it's just, I don't know, it's just a little frustrating. And I know I've said the word frustrating about 6 million times in this video, but I overall had fun playing this alpha. I've only put maybe 3 hours into it, and I really don't feel like I want to or need to put more into it. It's an alpha, it's not a finished game, and it feels like it's not a finished game, but the point of it is so that people like me can, and people like you as well, can go play it and give their opinions on it, like what they liked, what they didn't like, what they would like to change, and that's exactly what I'm doing here. You know, it's part of the alpha, and it's part of what it's supposed to be for. So, in conclusion, I enjoyed it. I think that some things do definitely need to change, and some things are potentially ruining to the gameplay experience of other people, such as people not reviving, coupled with not being able to skip the revive, and as well as the machine guns in the support class need some major changes. I would love the MG34 if you could ADS while holding it, and if it was a actual useful hip-fire weapon. But that ends this video for today, so let me know what you thought. If you got to play the alpha, let me know what you thought in the comments below, or if you're just watching and didn't get a key to play the alpha, let me know what you thought from any videos that you've watched, or what you want to see in Battlefield 5 when it comes out completely. I know I will probably be buying this game. 75% I'm going to buy this game when it comes out. We'll just have to see what the completed gameplay looks like and when the beta comes out and how it's going to change from this point. But let me know what you think about it in the comments below. Thanks for watching this video. I look forward to seeing you guys in the comments and in the Twitch streams that I do. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Have a great day.